Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dungeons and Drams. So we are all here tonight. We were just talking about what we were going to be drinking tonight, so I think it makes more sense to have that conversation on stream. So, Adriana, you were saying high proof tonight?
Yeah.
I don't want to blow up your spot of what you were actually saying, unless you feel like it. So.
Yeah. Well, others were saying that they were going to be drinking high proof or discussing possibly drinking high proof, but I'm visiting my mom. So I have two things, actually. I have first coquito, which is like eggnog but better. Mm-hmm. And then I have Heaven Hill bottled and bond 100 proof, because when I go to my mom's, her friends will drink my whiskey, so I have to hide a couple bottles from this photograph here.
Nice. What are you drinking tonight, Ed?
Well, I am drinking an old college classic of mine back when, well, I'm using slightly better whiskey these days, of course, but it's root beer and whiskey, and I'm using Sprecher because I'm a hometown Milwaukee boy.
I'd actually love to, like, I've tried a few of those pre-made root beer alcoholic things, and they're fine, but I feel like root beer alcohol would be better to make yourself. Like, I think it's, like the pre-made Jack and Cokes are like decent, but I feel like a homemade root beer and whiskey or something would be very good. Yeah, pretty sure. Well, and we used to use what was it? Like A&W and Clan McGregor. That does not sound like good.
yeah. So I've definitely improved a little bit in that realm.
It's funny. I have an interesting story, but whatever. A story about Clan McGregor. So when my grandfather is 94 or 96, something like that, pretty old guy, and us Eburns live a very long time. So when he used to live down in Florida, and my dad and I went down there to kind of like help him move up here to Massachusetts to kind of hang out with my parents. And when we were cleaning out his place, he had Clan McGregor. And he's like, I've been drinking this forever. And I had actually never had it before. Being as how it was in a plastic bottle, I did not expect good things, but I didn't exactly expect that bad of thing. so meanwhile, that being said, my dad, him and I all, him being 90 something at the time, all just drank a ton of Clan McGregor that night. And I'm like, this is pretty fun. So that's a good thing. And we were flying like a really crappy drone around and like taking pictures of ourselves inside of his house. It was one of those like drunken fun things.
Aww,
so.
That's cute. That's sweet.
A good memory. I, on the other hand, am drinking a New England double IPA to start off. This is called In a Pinch by Cold Harbor. It's like one of their limited edition ones. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm hoping it's good. Otherwise, I'm going to have a large beer to try to power through while doing this. But we'll see. It's a double IPAs. What was
double IPA?
A New England double IPA.
So what's the alcohol range for a double? Because I know
usually like 8 to 10, right? Something like that. Yeah. This one's 8%. So I don't know I don't know legally or specifically, but they. Oh.
That's wild.
Let me. How much was it?
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Yeah, I can't imagine how that was. I wanted to, but we had already been drinking. I'm like, probably not the best idea to end the night on that.
Yeah. 18.9. That's huge. That's like Utopia.
Oh yeah, that's the one, isn't it? Isn't that the one that's like
the Sam Adams Utopia? Yeah, it's very similar to a brandy. Yeah. I didn't love it when I had it. It was very heavy, like prunes kind of flavor, and I just wasn't loving it. It was, I don't know, like plum prune kind of thing, but it wasn't for me. Yeah, which I felt bad about,
Well, sometimes things are like very hyped, but they're just not for you, Everyone else can be into them.
And that's totally what struck me as. It was like another Johnny Walker Blue kind of concept. It was everybody thinks this is fantastic because it's made by a popular brewery in this case. But meh.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah. So Clifton, what are you drinking tonight?
Hey, so sorry for the delay. I was having internet issues, but I think I fixed it. I think my antivirus was blocking your site, Bill, so I disabled everything, so please don't destroy my computer. But tonight, I was like, I haven't had some peated whiskey in a while, so I decided to do a little bit of Ardbeg. So I'm going to start with the Fermutation.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is a very funky one, and then one of my favorites of the year, or maybe it was last year. I don't know. It's been a while. The Bizarrebecue release. Really love this one. So I'm gonna kind of work my way up to that. That one's a higher proof. So we'll see where the night takes us.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, once I'm done with my beer, I'll join you with the Heavy Vapors, or maybe the Hypernova. I don't know. We'll see what happens tonight. Yeah. So I picked up both of those this year, so I'm kind of still enjoying them.
Maybe that's what I should get for my mom so that her friends don't steal my whiskey.
That's a good idea.
If I get like a peated scotch.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, actually.
I might try that.
Your audio is just a little quiet, Adriana. Had I been on time tonight, I probably would have actually helped you.
I said that earlier, and I tried to fix it, but I will up it more.
Okay.
If you have for some reason, if you have a blue microphone, which I think you do, mine, some reason with an update, reset all the way down. So someone told me on a stream this last week saying like, hey, your volume's really low. So
cool. So everybody in the chat
about this. Oh. Is that louder?
It's okay. Maybe just talk louder. I think it's going to be more of a, a volume thing if you can. If not, then shove the mic in your face. Have I compared Hypernova to an Octomore? I would say that there's really no comparison. Octomore is just still way more heavily smoked. The I will crack the Hypernova tonight. I just totally pronounced that weird. Hypernova. So very New England of me.
Yeah.
And just to see what it tastes like, because honestly I haven't had it in few months and I kind of forget. But I will put that on the table so I don't forget.
I can't remember. I think Erica and I got the Hypernova, like the second one they did.
And they have like a Supernova too, right?
Oh, was it the Supernova? That's what it was. It was the Supernova.
I've not bought it. I've tried it at a friend's house though.
Yeah, no, me and Erica got the Supernova, and I remember it's just a completely different kind of peat than the Octomore, as I remember it, because that was like earthy, meaty, and the Octomores I've had have been more like stinky, smoky.
Yeah, I agree with you. Funny thing, I already had the Hypernova on my table because I'm an alcoholic and the wall behind me is not enough. They have to also be within reach.
Of course, always.
All right. Well, Clifton, if you want to hit us with the list of patrons, and then we'll kind of get going with a recap here, if you've got it.
Sure thing. Like I said, sorry for the delay. I was getting
it's
started.
no problem.
I know you sent these to me recently, and they're not in the backstage, so that's where I'm looking. So, oops.
I can take care of it.
Bill, do you have them?
Yeah. No, I have to find some more organic way than just like, hey, Clifton, read a list of so maybe I'll make a little video. That way people are inclined to join the Patreon.
Normally I see it in the backstage, and normally I'm ready to go, but I'm not seeing it. Maybe we've just been really chatty there, so I'm
totally
missing it.
Yeah. All right, so Mike, Steve, EJ, James Taylor, David, Martin, and Paul. Without them, we couldn't afford some of the software that I have to use every single month. So thank you guys very much for that. If you're interested in joining the Patreon, consider checking it out. There's a free trial available, so if you want to see what kind of things get posted there, there's no risk to you. All right. Well, Jason will not be joining us tonight, just in case anybody's noticed his missing avatar there. He had something he had to do tonight, unfortunately. So I will be sure to kill his character while he's not around.
Yeah.
Yay, kill his character. All right. So let's go into the recap. When last we saw Snortimer's soldiers, the jewel in the mountain's crown was under attack by an unseen entity. This was becoming more and more apparent as our heroes ran from deck to deck, seeing things appear in front of them, and then the next minute they were gone. Roland was dead below deck, only to be found later 2 floors up, ready for a fight, and having no knowledge of what had transpired below deck. Serafina was engulfed in flames, only to appear in the galley, speaking with Magnus. The group gathered and headed back to the hold of the ship, where they searched, only finding signs of scratches on the floor and tampering with the levers that drop ballast from the ship. At the very end of the episode, TaLin had found that some of the plants that are responsible for the levitation of the ship were partially eaten. What does this mean? We'll have to find out tonight. But we return to our players as they gather in the galley on the second deck, the living quarters. We are now in the galley. The entire crew has gathered together. There's one new face here that you haven't met before, but you've heard his name. His name is Turf, and he is an Earth Genasi. He's over on the left-hand side here. He's kind of standing there very, stoic, as one would assume, and just kind of staring off a little bit in the distance, almost perturbed to even be here. Magnus gets everybody's attention, and he says, "All right, everybody, we've got a problem on board. There is something going on this deck, and our new companions here have been trying to help figure this out. So if there's any way that you can help, or if there's any information that they need from you, it'd be worth sharing that information if they ask. But aside from that, keep your wits about you. Stay with a buddy at all times. If you find yourself needing to be alone, just wouldn't recommend it. But make sure somebody always knows where you are. Agnomeio, Knobolas, TaLin, is there anything else you'd like to add?"
Well, while this is going on, can I be making an Arcana check with my magic smelling abilities? I think that's what we decided this was.
you can sniff out the magic. Yes, you're like Demon Hunter, right? No, not Demon Hunter. What is it? Demon Slayer? Yeah,
something like. Yeah, sure. Yeah. All right.
So what are you trying to search for specifically?
Well,
I'm spelling everybody in the room. I want something more.
No, for sure. I'm trying to check for traces of magic, illusion magic specifically. I know we've got a few spellcasters in the room. I know Seraphina is one of them.
Actually, most people in this room are capable of some form of magic.
Okay, well then, generally, I want to, at least the people in my general vicinity, I want to try to look for illusion magic traces.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So roll me Arcana.
Oh, I got
first roll of the night, man.
I got the sniffles. I can't smell anything.
All right. So with a natural 1 for an 8. So you're listening to Magnus talk, and actually you hear a few other people kind of chiming in and people asking what's been going on. People like Elowin and Alaric who haven't really necessarily been involved. And as such, you're kind of, and you look over and you see a smile creeping across Roland's face, and you start to smell something quite foul.
Oh my god.
And he kind of shifts in his seat a little bit. But you do not detect any illusion magic.
Roland, you disgust me.
What do you mean, my friend?
You know what I mean.
That was you. It must be this.
Smack.
Somebody's casting an illusion.
Someone's casting an illusion. Okay. Well, anyway, talking to the people though.
Sure. All right.
I was gonna say, so
Yeah.
can I like check the doors? Can I like secure them or lock them in any kind of way so that way no one can get in or out of this room?
Sure. So each door has a rudimentary lock, but it's like this is the galley. It's not necessarily meant to be locked off. So the locks that are there they will not hold up to somebody trying to break out, but they're secure as they get.
Gotcha.
So since Magnus just declared about all of this, I'm asking everybody, has anybody here had a weird situation occur in the past 2 days in which something happened and then you see something else that makes that impossible? Like you saw somebody in one location and then the next thing you know they're in a different place and they have no idea about having ever been in another location. Anything like that? Has that happened to anybody here aside from Stormbringer soldiers?
Alicia is also raising her hand, and she says, my husband Ragnar, he either disappeared. I don't know if something's going on with this, but I haven't seen him since early this morning, and I mean it's mid-afternoon at this point. I don't know if he's missing or if this thing took him or what's going on, but I haven't seen him at all. And Seraphina chimes in. She says, I have not seen anything myself, but I've been told that I've appeared in a few of these illusions. One of which I was engulfed in flames, and the other I was apparently ducked behind a crate and disappeared. Milo actually chimes in. He says, "Yeah, I was down below in the cargo area, and I was pretty sure that I saw a snake or two slithering through the cargo. I mean, I don't know if that's just normal. There were no rats, so maybe the snakes are eating the rat. I don't know, but I'm just. What does an illusion even look like? How would you even know if you saw an illusion?"
Have you ever seen snakes on a plane before? Have you ever seen him on an airship before?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, there's always rats, so sometimes there's snakes.
I am
Okay,
tired
so
of
not
this.
totally.
Question for the Dungeon Master.
Yeah.
How old is Milo?
Ooh, good question. Let me double check his biography, see if I put it in here. I would say he's mid-20s.
Ah, damn it. Okay.
Why?
The voice
You're hoping
kind
he
of.
was a kid?
He's a halfling.
Okay.
I was looking
Okay.
for a kid.
Yep. Same race as
reason. Just
TaLin.
curious.
Yep.
Okay, so the two people who so the only people who've experienced it have been a part of Snortimer's soldiers, and then the ones that we have seen have do impossible things like die and then actually reappear are Roland and Seraphina.
As far as you've learned, that seems to be the case. Yeah. Although you've been around everybody here except for you haven't really spent much time with Elowin, and you have not seen Turf prior to right now.
Well, but earlier when I just asked the whole group, have any of them experienced it, and they just mentioned the situations in which someone saw them. So as far as I know, and then Alessio just mentioned about her husband missing.
Did you say that there was someone here with us that we don't know?
Yes, this guy on the left, Turf. So
Why are we
Turf,
questioning this guy? Why are we accusing each other? Who's this dude?
I haven't accused anyone yet.
So
Oh.
when I made
Just
him
you.
when I made him Clifton, I thought to myself, I'm like, Clifton's gonna react to both Turf and Roland.
Very different reactions, but you
Yeah,
know.
well, that one's Roland too. So I was like, yeah.
Okay, you know what? I don't care how good Roland looks, like that voice. How much does it for me?
Just intolerable.
So
Oh.
Turf.
I don't know. Roland's not bad.
You can have him.
Yeah, I gotta say,
Turf
Turf's got
also.
kind of a Timothy Chalamet thing going on, but with
I
big
know, I
old
like
ears.
it. I like it.
Yeah.
I have to look up who Timothy Chalamet is. Oh, I don't know.
Wonka?
Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't seen the new one.
He's
but,
the little French dingus. He's the new.
Little French. You're right. Turf does kind of look like a French dingus. All right. Anyway, so Alaric actually chimes in and he says, "Well, I haven't seen anything. I've been in my lab, and I know TaLin brought the rat to me. We were working on that for a while. I haven't seen any illusions or anything." And Elowin actually kind of chimes in. She says, "What rat have you seen?" She was actually on the same deck, but apparently she's unaware of what's going on. So Magnus actually takes a moment and he chimes in and he fills everybody in on all of the details of what's happened so far. So as far as things that he's revealed is about the rat, finding of the rat, the testing that you did, what happened with Roland in the basement, what happened with Seraphina in her room, and the fact that apparently Alicia's husband is missing. So everybody in this
and
room is
have
basically
you-
on the same page.
Elowin, have you seen, noticed any issues with the plants? Have you seen bites being taken out of them? Do you recognize them?
It's funny that you mentioned that. I'm sorry I didn't say it sooner, but yeah, actually, I have seen a few bites taken out of some of the plants in the engine room. A couple of the plants in the atrium are also uprooted. I was able to restore them, but these are non-magical plants. These are just things for herbs or components for things that Alaric will work on.
When you say uprooted, did someone dig them out, or did someone tear them out?
More of a tear. They were on the floor next to the the boxes that they would typically be in.
So,
Right, now I'm just imagining if the cranium rats are eating the other plants that do cause the ship to fly, are we gonna have flying rats? Is that a possibility?
that's a
Elowin?
good
Is
question.
that something you know of?
So these rats. So Knobolas hasn't been around any of this talk of rats. So from my understanding, it kind of does a bit of mind control. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
These strange little brain weasels. They try to trick you with their silly magics.
Alicia, your husband's been missing. Do we think that maybe some of those rats got a hold of him and maybe he's up to this? I mean, not something you would expect a king to be up to, but you never know.
I mean, I suppose it certainly could be, but I mean, without being too blunt about it, my husband's not exactly the stealthiest person. He's kind of heavy and makes a lot of noise when he moves. He breathes through his nose, just loudly. And then she kind of looks at you, Agnomeio, who's like sniffing the air. She's like, kind of like that.
Yes, I do admire your husband.
I mean, I can't suppose we just blame it all on him. Surely there's something else up. If we haven't been hearing him around while all this has been happening, there's something else, whether it took him or something.
So oh, sorry, go ahead.
Was it mentioned? I thought it might have been before that a bunch of people had, became public before that a lot of people had nightmares and not slept well and been feeling off.
It was mentioned.
And that was only for last night.
So you guys have technically slept on the boat for 2 nights, and it's been 2 nights that nightmares have been happening. So sorry.
I was going to ask, is there anywhere on the boat, that would make a good hiding place? If you guys were to hide, if you guys had to hide on this boat from someone, where would you hide?
So Milo and Felicity actually both kind of chime in at the same time and kind of stepping over each other, but Milo defers over to Felicity and she says, well, there's little chambers between the walls that you could technically hide in, hiding in the hold of the ship. It's pretty dark down there, as you saw. There's always space in the cargo hold where if you were to hide in a box or something like that. There's actually quite a few places that you could probably hide on the ship.
You could get Booker to try and sniff out either dipshit Alessia's husband, I forgot his name, Ragnar,
yep.
or cranium rats, if they have one that we could let him smell.
I think we need to get in these crawl spaces and see what's going on, because I'm wondering if they're moving around the ship in between the walls.
I don't do well with small spaces. Prefer big gaping spaces.
Jesus.
Well, one becomes the other when you get in it.
Yes. So Dr. Everhard actually chimes in for a moment. She goes, well, actually, there was something. Roland, yesterday you came to me because you were really injured from some sort of fight. You said that there was something fearsome that attacked you. Do you want to talk about that for a minute? And Roland says, I don't know what you're talking about. There was no such thing, no fight. I simply tripped and fell and injured myself. I appreciate the medical care that you gave me. And he kind of elbows you, Agnomeio, for a moment. He's like, nothing happened whatsoever.
What? No.
I'm going to give him a disdainful look. You're lucky I have bigger problems right now.
Nothing at all.
Well, with all of that nothing happening, I'm going to suggest that I use Beast Sense with Booker and have him work on trying to smell out cranium. He can smell the one that we already had, and then smell out any cranium rats that might be in the wall chambers.
Okay. So you touch a willing beast for the duration. You can use your action to see through the beast's eyes and hear what it hears, and continue to do so until your action. Okay. So the duration of the spell is how long? 1 hour. Okay. So basically, for an hour, you can see, hear, and smell through Booker. Cool. So go ahead and cast your spell, and then you will now basically slump down in your chair, and. Are you telling anybody that you're doing this?
I tell
okay.
Mortimer soldiers
cool.
that I am doing this. Yeah.
Okay.
Just gonna have a little coma. No worries.
So you slump down in your chair, your eyes kind of roll back in your head, and suddenly you're feeling kind of itchy, and you're like, like this, and you realize that you're in Booker's body, and you're feeling very fancy in your top hat and your bow tie, and you've got your.
Y'all see Booker do like a little
Like, oh, TaLin.
a little proud pose.
All right. So why don't you tell me what you'd like to accomplish as Booker? Because the rest of the group is probably going to stay around here.
I'm gonna poke at whoever's near me to come with me.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea being, basically, I'm gonna wander around the ship, sniffing the walls that Felicity indicated that there's like chambers throughout the walls.
Sure.
And I feel like that's where rats would likely be, and just see if I get a sniff of an infestation of cranium rats.
Sure. All right. So Felicity actually, so Knobolas and Agnomeio, let me just ask you two, what would you like to do during this time? Are you following or are you doing something different?
I would like to follow.
I kind of want to keep an eye on the room. I don't know. I like the idea of everyone kind of staying in place, and I want to keep an eye on everyone.
Okay. So Milo actually walks up to you, excuse me, Agnomeio, and he hands you a little stone. It's a sending stone. He says, here you go. Use this if you need to get back in touch with us. I'll just leave it right here on the table. And he's going to leave it on this northern table. That way anybody that's in this room will be able to hear you if you need help or if you find anything. So he's going to hand you a sending stone. Think walkie-talkie. Yep. All right.
Before they all leave, well I guess
Yep.
once they all leave, before you go on the little side quest, I want to see if Talia could maybe bring us some wine so we aren't just sitting here awkwardly for the time being.
Of course.
Magnus actually kind of shuts it down. He says, I think it's better for us to keep our wits about us at the moment. I have enough trouble with illusions when I'm drinking. I don't need extra ones.
Knobolas would be like speak for yourself, and like under his coat he kind of has a flask that he kind of puts down at.
Magnus lets it go. So, all right. But that being said, Magnus does say, well, that's a good idea is a good idea. Instead of some drink, how about could you bring us some food, Talia? I don't know about the rest of you, but it's lunchtime and I'm pretty hungry. Plus, if we need to fight anything, better to fight on a full stomach. And Talia says, right away. And she goes into...
Can I ask to assist her?
Absolutely. Magnus actually encourages it because of the buddy system. So.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So the two of you are going to go over there. We'll get back to you in just a moment. So Booker, Agnomeio, and Felicity. So Felicity starts showing you over to actually the room that Alessio and Agnomeio sleep in. She says that there is a one of these spots within the wall in this room. Basically on this inner wall, she says that this wall is actually hollow, and she kind of knocks on it, and you could hear that it's echoey inside.
Is it okay if I drag TaLin over, because I can't see?
Yes, sorry, I'll do that for you.
Yep. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, you can take care of that from now on. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you guys are in this room and investigating. So why don't you roll? Let's see. You're trying to smell. So Booker can only, with his smell, keen hearing and smell, he has advantage on perception checks that rely on hearing or smell. So why don't you roll advantage perception?
Okay.
With Booker.
Oh, okay. I think I just have to roll the keen hearing and smell. It doesn't
Correct,
have like
yes.
the abilities the way the other thing. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you should be able to click on the
Yes.
little thing. Yep. Oh, it doesn't. Okay. So instead, roll your. Here you go.
I just rolled 2d2.
Now you can see them. So roll perception with advantage.
Oh, there we go.
Yep, I made it visible for you.
Thank you.
Ooh, those are nice dice.
I almost had a 20.
But you didn't.
All right.
All
I did it.
So Booker starts sniffing around the wall, and you do see he kind of sticks his nose into one of the knots in the wall, and then he's kind of going around and he kind of, I mean, you're him actually. So you do not smell anything other than like a faint trace of. Let me take that back. Even with a 10, you do smell something. but you have no clue what it is. It doesn't smell like a rat to Booker's nose.
Gotcha. Okay. I feel like Roland's fart kind of messed with Booker.
Yeah, you know, it's a little brutal.
Yeah, that's fair. So Booker definitely tilts his head. Did Felicity indicate that this is like the only chamber that's like this?
No, she's
Or, like,
more just
there's
waiting for you to
multiple-
kind of be like, I'm done searching here.
Yeah. Oh, then Booker like kind of tilts his head confusedly, and is excited but like ready to going back towards the door and everything. It's like, all right,
Sure.
there's something going on in this room, but I don't really get
Sure.
it.
So Felicity actually, she goes to jump on Booker's back and she says, "This way, boy." Are you letting her? She's a gnome, so she certainly could.
Booker sits down.
Oh no, and she
So
tumbles
that
backwards.
she slides right off.
She ends up doing like a little back somersault, and she's all right. Point taken. Okay, I want you to come up over here to I believe this is where Knobolas was sleeping. There's another one in here. I'm just gonna drag you guys.
I keep forgetting if Felicity was the one who designed was it pipes?
Pipes?
That the weird machine that almost killed me. That was like a
Oh no,
bear,
it's
but
not.
a bear.
No, just
Puddles.
I personally can't picture a female gnome without pink hair because I think I played too much World of Warcraft. So I like to just give them all pink hair. But that's just me.
Oh, okay. Booker was like still pissy with her because he thinks she's her.
Yeah.
My bad.
So Felicity
that against.
Felicity points around in this room and she says, this one actually has a very large, it's almost the whole length of the outer wall. And pretty much every room here that has an outer wall, there's going to be some form of crawl space in it. And they do this so that it's a little easier to fix the outside paneling from inside rather than having to rappel off the outside. So most of the hull will have a kind of a dual hull situation. So if you want to go ahead and smell here, then that would be fine.
Okey-dokey. Doing so.
I'm gonna smell for Arcana too.
Sure.
If she's
How's about
smelling
a
for rats, I'm
21?
smelling for magic.
That's actually
Also,
perfect.
what does magic smell like? I'm curious. Like when you smell it. does
Well,
smell
it
like
depends.
pink or-
You know, illusion magic smells like fish oil. You know.
I would say unicorn farts, but Roland already ruined that.
Transmutation would smell like sulfur, most likely. Yeah. I mean, sorry, not transmutation. Evocation. Yes. Transmutation, I would think, would smell like copper, because copper to gold or something like that. So anyway, so with your 21 that you rolled on the smell, as well as Agnomeio, you rolled a 21 on your illusion check. I mean, your Arcana check. All right, so Booker does get a scent of something. This is something. As Booker, you have a memory of the things that he has smelled, and this is smelling similar but not the same to the intellect devourers in a way that makes Booker realize that this is something from the Underdark. It's everything down there has some sort of smell in common, just dank and dark and something, but it smells. Let's see. He's also it's hearing and smell, right? So I'm trying to decide what to give you. There's something that Booker, when he's got his nose kind of plugged into another one of these little holes in the wall, Agnomeio, you start sniffing around because you notice Booker is very interested, and you look into the hole, and what you see is just a ton of those same scratches that you saw on the bottom deck.
Boy.
Basically, something crawled up this wall and used its claws to do so.
Okay, so the scratches are coming from below and moving kind of like up through
Correct.
through
Yes,
the crawl space.
but also sideways and also down. This thing.
Oh, so they're going all over.
If I had to compare the way that these claw marks look like, and this is going to be a deep cut, but one that we'll probably get. Resident Evil 2, the things with a huge tongue, the lickers, I think they called them, crawling around. None of you Bourbon Bites, I'm embarrassed for you.
I'm sorry. It's too early. It's too early of a game for me.
That's okay. All right. Somebody out there gets it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
This is a creature that crawls on all fours and kind of clings to the wall and kind of.
Okay, got it.
You actually can't see me. I'm like miming everything. It's like that. So.
Well, that's terrifying. Is there, from what I can see, are there any tracks that go off? Is it just covered in them, or are there trails like going off into the other parts of the ship?
There are, in this particular room, it seems as with such a high roll, I'll give you more. So it seems like they're coming up from below, and they were going over to the right, about where Knobolas was sleeping. On the map, you were kind of sniffing around here, and Knobolas was sleeping in the hammock that Felicity's currently sitting on.
Oh boy.
It was probably at least looking at Knobolas, if not something else. And then it headed to the left.
Okay. So Felicity, the crawl spaces, I mean, does this go all the way around the whole side of this boat? Or does it go all the way around this side of the boat?
Yes. Almost. There's a couple places where there's beams where you wouldn't be able to pass through, but if you were to go down a couple levels and back up around, you could find ways through.
Okay. And it goes. Does it reach all the way up to the top deck?
No, actually,
this access the top decks.
This is as far up as it would go, because up above us, they're really, it's more of a beam around the whole ship.
Okay. All right then. Good to know. So we know whatever it is can't get up top, at least without us knowing. So that's good.
Felicity's thinking for a moment. She says, well, there is the captain's quarters, which is on the top deck. There might be ways in there. I actually have never been inside of the captain's quarters. So I'm not sure what the inside looks like. But if you think about the structural design of the ship, it's reasonable to assume that there could be a crawl space into his room as well.
Okay. This is wild. This is wild.
Mm-hmm.
And
should we regroup?
She kind of gets this concerned look on her face, and she says, come to think of it, I don't think there's a room on this floor that it couldn't get into with fairly minimal effort.
So something is coming around to each of our rooms at night, right?
It would stand to
reason.
Giving
us the bad nightmares.
And everybody's having weird fucking dreams and stuff.
And
we
then
should regroup so TaLin's got a book on the Underdark.
Okay, yeah. Let's all get together and read. Well, I guess I can't talk to you right now. You're a dog, but.
Well, so I mean,
exactly.
She gets...
I'm Booker right now, so I'm like.
I would say that she probably would understand you. I mean, dogs don't understand English, but TaLin does, and she can hear through through Booker. So I think that she could probably hear you.
Yeah,
all right, Tal Booker. To Booker. Ball in, whichever.
Ball in.
But back to the galley. We need your researching skills.
So while you all are off doing what you're doing, let's go over to Knobolas. This is going to be the same kind of timeline. If you could refrain from moving, just because it's going to move the map for me. So Knobolas, you and Talia are once again alone. In the kitchen, and the doors are currently closed. It's just the two of you. Reasonable to assume some level of privacy here, and she is currently whipping up some like nuts and meats and cheeses and breads, and just kind of putting everything onto a platter. She's not putting her normal care into it. She's just kind of providing food rather than cooking a meal.
I'm for a quickie.
Not yet. No, so I assume Knobolas notices that she seems to be kind of distracted or something's a little off about her.
I think you could make that guess, yes. Whether that's something you want to point out or not is up to you.
Yeah, I'd like to, go up kind of behind her and like ask her if I can help. Like, is there anything I can do to help?
She points over at the a couple of empty pitchers. She says, we can't have wine, but maybe, I mean, everybody probably wants some water. If you could fill up those jugs of water, that'd be great. Thank you.
I mean, to help you.
Oh, to help me? I don't know. I mean, what do I look like I need help? And she starts kind of like fixing her hair.
No, it's just
When in doubt.
this whole situation. The situation's all a little bit crazy. I mean, surely, have you seen or heard anything that that you can, you can trust me? We've kept secrets before. Is there anything that would be helpful for me and my friends to know?
Make a persuasion roll.
Right. 10.
I mean,
I can risky whiskey it if I have to.
it's completely up to you.
I'll risky whiskey it. I need to move on to the barbecue anyways, so.
Nice.
All right.
Let's try that again. Persuasion. Oh, come on.
I swear, more frequently you guys roll the same roll when you risky whiskey. And I will
reroll or anything.
I will remind the audience that if anybody would like to at any time, if you super chat, you can pick either boon or bane, and that can cause advantage or disadvantage on somebody's roll.
Oh, come on, guys. Come on. You guys want to know what's up? I want to know what's up.
So,
Yeah,
but for the moment, we're going to take the 10 and we'll have to figure out a way to make this timely, but whatever. So at the moment, we're going to take your 10. So Talia says, well, it's kind of silly. It really is. It's about these nightmares that I've been having. They're really starting to get to me, and it's just for kind of a silly reason. And she actually takes from her apron, she has a flute in there. It's not like a big long flute. It's kind of like a fife or something like that. That's not the right word, because I think a fife is like a thing. It's a short flute. And she's like, I've been playing the flute for a long time, and I've always kind of, as part of this whole traveling thing, I always figured that someday I'd end up at an inn and maybe like play, and sometimes I play for the crew, and they tell me that I'm pretty good, but these dreams, it's kind of taking those ideas of playing for people, and it's making just the most embarrassing situations. Either something goes wrong, or my flute doesn't work, or just I play terribly, or I play great and I think I play great and everybody just boos me, and it's just kind of like affecting me, even though it shouldn't, because it's just a dream. And I mean, if you're detecting me being off a little bit, that's probably what it is. There's a lot on my mind.
No, we've all been having awful nightmares of things that we can't address or confront, but it seems your nightmare, it's something that maybe you can confront, and maybe, I mean, we have a whole crew here gathered around, nothing to do. I mean, let's say maybe after I help you make some dinner, you put on a little show for us if you're up for it. I think you can maybe fight some of your fears and some of your demons in your sleep by performing for us.
Make another persuasion roll, this time with advantage. I'm gonna just
I'm going with this, but I'm gonna.
That's
I'm gonna
okay.
keep
I'm
going.
actually gonna give you advantage on this because
This does feel so random.
All right. All right. What do we got?
Ed's excited because he might get to pull out Bart and make it do
All right,
I got a 15.
A 15. She kind of looks at her flute for a minute, and she's just thinking about it. She says, maybe when everybody's eating, maybe it'll take their mind off things. We'll see. But will you promise me something, Knobolas?
Of course.
No matter how it goes, will you clap and just make me feel good about it?
I like to put my arm around her. I want nothing more than to make you feel good.
Aww. Still
And,
sexual.
I
Aww.
know, right? Yeah. You definitely are a guy, Clifton. I like it. It's good to know.
And then I'm gonna go get those water pitchers, and I'll bring them out to the tables.
Perfect. You see her. She's kind of standing there and just still holding the flute in her hand. And then as the door's kind of closing behind you, you hear her start to move around, getting things ready again. Almost like the door shutting has kind of snapped her out of whatever she's picturing in her head. Okay, so you go back into the kitchen just in time to see TaLin and Agnomeio and Felicity and Booker, or actually, sorry, TaLin would have remained, but whatever, re-enter the galley.
Clear some space. TaLin needs reading room.
Well, so at the moment you're still part of Booker. It's probably only been about 15 minutes. It hasn't been very long. So you still have another 45 minutes on the spell if you want it, or if you want to end it sooner, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, I think at this point I would end it sooner. And I've pretty much already ended it, basically. Like, once it happened, I knew y'all were coming back.
Sure.
So Booker is back, and I've been flipping through the book. And based on what y'all saw with the claws and stuff, he didn't quite smell cranium rat. He didn't quite smell intellect devourer that we had interacted with before, but similar underdark creatures. And there's a hook horror that has like the appropriate claws, but doesn't have any psychic attacks. But we could have like a mixture, if he's just smelling underdark in general. There's the myconids or mysonids, I don't know.
Myconids.
They're basically like a fungus, myconids.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That like emit toxic spores that are mind control spores.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's mind flayers, which are capable of psychic manipulations and are like a creepy mobile creature, whereas the myconids are more like a mycelium network and a mushroom type thing. So we could have a mix of things, or like, so I'm wondering though if we have something like the hook horror, or if a mind flayer could create those marks. But the mind flayer, at least in the book, has more of an octopus look, not like.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Davy
claws
Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. Is how it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
So Dr. Everhart walks over and kind of looks over your shoulder as you're reading from this book. And she points out, she says, the only creatures in there that would have what you described, I mean, the hook horror sounds like its claws are too large and the rats are too small. I'm not sure that what you described is even in this book, at least not what made sense to me.
Something else underdarky.
So, anybody an expert on freaky deaky underdarks?
Oh, I like freaky deaky, but maybe not underdarks.
Freaky.
And Alicia actually chimes in and she says, well, I mean, I was around for the invasion a couple of decades ago. There were... she's kind of like, her eyes are kind of darting left and right. She says, I can't think of anything that would have come out of there that would have matched what you're describing, though. Everything was big and kind of terrifying. There was nothing stealthy or sneaky. I mean, the mind flayers were terrifying in like a psychic way. They controlled people, but they didn't sneak around. If anything,
Go ahead. Did the kobolds have claws? Like,
the kobolds definitely had claws. That actually, now that you mention it, that could match what you're saying. But they tend to be in groups, so it's possible that we're dealing with multiple if it's the kobolds.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
maybe
no matter
giving
what,
that underdark feeling because it's corrupted.
Yeah, corrupted with the mushroom hat.
I would like.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask Alicia, if we were down in the tunnels right now, how would we kill it?
How would we kill what?
Whatever is in here. What are your tunnel fighting tactics? How do we catch it and kill it?
I would say it's probably sensitive to light. So your sword might come in handy. Aside from that, hit it with the pointy end of your sword, I suppose.
Thank you. Very helpful.
Are they resistant to magic? Do you remember anything like that?
Oh, it very much varied from creature to creature. Some of them were, so it wouldn't be out of the question that this creature could be... I wouldn't focus on any sort of poison attack, and you see Alaric kind of like, fine. Grr. But I would... maybe if you have any sort of radiant or light or thunder or lightning. Anything that produces a light might disorient it.
All right.
But of course, we're on a big wooden ship, so maybe fire is not the best thing.
Yeah, we're gonna have to be real
please don't.
careful.
Yeah, Serafina, you're gonna probably want to be careful with those flames. And she's you actually look over and her and Magnus are kind of whispering at each other. And she snaps up and I'm always careful with my fire. Don't worry about it.
Serafina, are you good at also like putting out fires? So if
Oh
an
no,
attack
no,
went wrong,
no, not at all. No, I mean if I made it, sure, but like if something lights and it's spreading, I suppose I could shoot more fire at it and try to disintegrate it. That might work.
great.
Gotta fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. So I'm thinking I go into the wall with Pyroxis. Try
By
to.
yourself?
Can we figure out? And then we try to flush this thing out. Maybe we split into two teams. You know, the small folks. We go from the bow of the ship to the aft, and
Two
just
angles. Yeah.
and then just push it to the captain's quarters in the back.
Push it towards.
Push it real good.
Good.
I know. You said it like 3 times. I just could not. So. All right.
Yeah. My problem is like everything is fire. Or thunder, but that doesn't emit light.
So I guess
What's the problem? We have the one, fiery sword.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
light up
we're gonna
sword.
need. The other team's gonna have to have some sort of light, some sort of big glowy light.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I can have like a little like a torch or like produce flame where it's just like a little fireball, but I don't know if that's enough light to.
I think we
could try it and then I can.
I think we just had Roland the torch,
enough.
maybe, and just push him in.
Sounds like a plan. I'm down.
Yeah, but can Roland fit in the crawl space?
Good question. How big is the crawl space, Bill?
It's much more much more suitable for halflings and gnomes than it would be humans, or others.
Can Knobolas, you can do illusions. Can you cast an illusion of like a radiant light around me while I crawl through the thing? They might just see that and think that it's gonna, be damaging, and so run the other way.
So I can cast a minor illusion. Bill, you have to tell me if that would qualify.
Sure. A minor illusion is something basically it's generally fairly small. It doesn't move. It doesn't, and I think it can either be a sound or a visual. So what are you trying to do?
Can it be very bright?
It could. I think it could be bright. Yeah, we could do that. It wouldn't.
Do we have any sunstone?
Oh.
You should have some sunstone. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
All right.
okay.
I like where this is going.
Yeah.
All right, let's break out some sunstone. Let's get all the shorties together. We'll make 2 team shorties, and then get some sunstone out. Everybody gets some sunstone, and we're gonna try to run this thing down.
Well, I was gonna say I can use some minor illusion to amplify the, like, do some mirror work with the illusion. Maybe amplify the sunstone a bit.
All right,
Yeah,
rock and
I
roll.
dig that.
All right. So everybody who's short enough to potentially do this is over on the right here. Although, let me spread you out a little bit more. However, as you're talking about all this, I'd like you all to roll a d6.
Bill, if you put us in combat right now,
What? If I put you in combat, what?
Didn't say initiative.
We'll have to fight.
Right.
Oh, I rolled as Booker, but same thing.
All right, so
sorry.
that's fine. So Nomio rolled a 1, Booker rolled a 4. Well, TaLin rolled a 4,
Yeah.
and Knobolas rolled a 6. So that's 11 divided by 3. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Interesting.
wow.
Oh, that's so
Wow.
cool. Also, I'm like, is that what, 3.75?
Also, I was just curious. Okay, so we should put the warrior folks. We'll have 2 people take the lead, so I'll be one warrior person, and then is Alessia's like a fighter, right?
Yes. Well, sort
Yeah.
of. She is capable of fighting, but I would not classify her as a fighter any more than a dwarvish woman would probably have a good way to handle like a hammer or something.
Okay.
Like she won't be worthless, but she's got very low hit points. I'll just kind of tell you that. She's got 12 hit points, and you could see that based off her you know, stature.
Let's see if we see any sign of Ragnar, we'll let you know.
TaLin, do you want to take Magnus and Felicity, and then I'll take Alicia and I don't know, is Ulrich, are you
Alaric,
want to fight, lad? Are you a fighter? Shall you come with us?
I'm not really a fighter, but I can throw some stuff. I've got. He pulls out like all these little vials. He's like, I have fire in a bottle. I have acid in a bottle. But we already said that probably wouldn't be very good. And he kind of chucks it over his shoulder and immediately regrets it. You see it hit the wall, and thankfully it doesn't shatter. It clinks to the ground. He's like, okay, let's pretend that didn't happen. So I've got fire in a bottle. I've got a couple of other tricks up my sleeve. But
I feel like you hear Magnus just groan really loudly when Alaric does that.
He's like, I can do some damage, but I also have, and he holds up these 2 new potions. He's like, I have a potion of water breathing. Might not come in handy here, but you never know. And a potion of invisibility.
Doesn't last long.
So I just perfected this. And you're a halfling, right? No, you're a gnome. That's good, because I'm a gnome, and it worked on me, so it should probably work on you. I wouldn't give it to, any points over TaLin. I wouldn't give it to her, because we haven't tested on halflings yet, and I'm pretty sure that you have to be a gnome to make it work, but this could work with you.
No.
Also, you know, a couple of healing potions. He's and then he pulls out this little metal grenade. He says, and I have a grenade, which... maybe we'll use, maybe we won't. But if I throw this, you shouldn't be anywhere near this. Have you seen a grenade before? Have you ever seen a grenade?
I can't say.
Okay. If I throw it, it goes, and then everything around it dies. It's really cool.
Hopefully he forgets to pull the pin. I feel like.
Oh, no pins at all. You just throw it, and something happens, and it's fine.
Throw it.
You just throw it. It's a good thing I didn't chuck this over my shoulder.
Yeah. All right.
I'm glad Alaric's on your team. I was already glad, but.
Yeah. No. I'll take Bommy McGee over here. All right. So start at the front of the ship and work our way through the crawl spaces towards the aft.
Perfect. All right.
Yep.
And then I think we should tell everyone else, station yourself. Well, we don't know where this thing is necessarily going to pop out. If it's going to pop out on this level or if in the captain's quarters. So we should have. You think we should have like a couple people stationed amidships and then a couple people on the top deck?
Magnus actually says, "Oh shoot, I didn't even think about it, but with the buddy system, TaLin is up there all by himself. He's been piloting the ship this whole time. Roland, why don't you go spend some time with TaLin? Just, you know, keep the chatter to a minimum. He's concentrating." Aye, sir. I will.
Can we send Alessio up there too?
Alessio, you should go up there as well. Yeah, actually, in fact, Roland, why don't you stay here, and Alessio, you can go up there.
I was just thinking, I don't want Roland walking through any corridors alone.
Agreed.
I want him accompanied at all times.
Fair enough. All right, so Alessio,
I like your idea of having people stationed like at the other possible exits of the. Mm-hmm. Also, could we use that messenger stone at all? Could like, Agnomeio have one, and then somebody stationed down below have one. That way, it's like, hey, it worked. Come up here.
Sure. Well, it seems like you're making 2 different teams. So Milo says that he'll take one, and Agnomeio, why don't you keep the other?
Okay.
All right. So Milo and Agnomeio, sorry, both have sending stones.
All right.
Cool. So Alessio says, I will head up to the surface and be dark and spooky and fight snakes. And then he just kind of vanishes.
All right.
So, tell me what you guys are doing. You kind of made this little plan. So you're going to kind of take two different sides, go from the front and sweep to the back inside the walls. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming that most of so the port side we know has a ton of crawl space. I'm assuming the starboard side is similar.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So is Knobolas just hanging out here just with everyone else, just like chilling?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, Knobolas and actually Talia she actually finally comes through the door bringing a whole bunch of food, and she sees everybody kind of gathering. And she's, are you guys all leaving already? I just prepared all this food. And then you see her right hand places a plate down on the table, and Knobolas, you notice her left hand is like deep in her pocket, and she seems to be holding something.
Guys, let's just please. I think you could use your strength. Please just sit. Just have a quick bite before you go.
There's no rush. We were just excited that we had an idea.
Well, all right. It wouldn't hurt. The evil
I'm always,
warlock will still be there
down
later.
All right. Well, here you go. I've got all kinds of food for you. And she kind of passes it all around. So you guys take whatever you want and eat. And she's looking like she's doubting herself a little bit, Knobolas.
I like to look at her, of course, and give her my very charming look. I don't know if do I want to wink? Yeah, I'll wink at her. I'll just be like, you got this.
All right. Talia, she says, everybody, I know it's been a bit of a day. I was hoping that maybe I could try to calm all of our nerves here. And she takes the flute out of her pocket. And there we go. And she starts playing on the flute. Hopefully you guys can hear that.
I don't, but I'm going to pretend like I do.
All right. Boom. We'll just crank it. So anyway, she's playing very well. I'm going to actually, I'm going to roll performance for her just for fun. And let's see.
Oh, here, I turned it up. I got it.
Ooh, she rolled a 22.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So she is, she's like, Aqualung! she's rocking on the flute, and everybody's feeling really good. So actually, because she rolled so well, anybody who hears this is going to get a D4 to their next roll, if it's relevant and if I remember. So help me remember. So basically, think of it like a bardic inspiration. So she gets a D4. Cool. That actually worked out really well. Okay. So, you guys all finish your...
Before it ends, I would like to applaud her.
Yeah.
Everyone else does too.
Excellent.
Get up on the table and holler.
Actually, even Turf kind of steps away from the wall for a minute, and you just see like really...
I was going to say, I'd had my eye on him. I was wondering how he was reacting during this whole situation.
Turf has been very distant. He's got this look in his eyes as if like it doesn't really matter where he is. Something's constantly going on in his head. And if he's asked a question, he'll answer, but otherwise he's completely distracted.
Okay. Interesting. Right. Okay.
So Talia says, all right, I want to wish you everybody good luck. Those of you staying here, feel free to keep eating. Those of you going out, good luck to you. I hope everything goes well. All right.
Thanks, Talia.
Thank you.
Cool.
I want to go up to her and put my arm around her and be like, well done. Can I kiss her on the cheek? Is that too weird? Is that too obvious? Okay, I won't do it.
It's completely up to you what you're doing.
I love that you have that conversation with yourself.
No,
okay,
Sarah isn't here. I've slept with a lot of people in this room, so I'm going to say no.
You actually, I don't think you've slept with anybody in this room.
I've been romantically somewhat involved with at least 1, 2, 3 of them, so...
You sound like me in like my mid-20s where I was like, yeah, she totally wants me.
So I would like to make my way over to Turf. I would like to make my way over to Turf and end my turn there.
Sure. All right. Okay. So so the groups are, looks like Felicity, Milo, and Magnus, and then Agnomeio, Alaric, and Alicia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And TaLin, where do you fit in? What are you doing?
Right. I'm with Milo group.
Okay, so then Magnus is actually going to hang back because he's kind of like, it doesn't make much sense for me to be scooting around inside of the walls here. I got a ship to run. So TaLin, Felicity, Milo, you guys will be group 2. Agnomeio, Alaric, and Alessio, you guys will be group B.
All right, yeah.
Yes, Serafina chimes in. Ah, yes, the most sensical of designations.
Yeah.
Of course
Right.
I would.
I kind of want to be team short round, but
You're welcome to. All right, so all 6 of you emerge from this room, and immediately you see come out of one of these side rooms here, one of these side bedrooms. You see Pharaoh Rainblossom come out of the room, and he looks at you, and he's got his pipe in his hand, and he says, "You thought that you thought that you had killed me, but not even close." And you see he raises both of his hands, and this tidal wave emerges from his hands as he pushes him towards you, and casts tidal wave in the middle of this hallway, completely filling the 10-foot or so deck with water as it's rushing towards all 6 of you. What are you doing, TaLin and Agnomeio?
I'm casting Thunder Wave.
I bet this is not even real. I bet you are an illusion. And if I don't believe in you, it can't affect me. Those are the rules. And I run straight at him.
Okay. And TaLin, you're casting Thunder Wave? As a reactions, right? No. What is Thunder Wave? It's action?
Action, yeah.
Okay. All right, so go ahead and cast your Thunder Wave. And Agnomeio, you're going to start charging.
Reason Agnomeio freaking ran out in front.
All right, so you cast Thunder Wave, and those around you... well, no, you can't choose where you cast Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave happens directly around you in a 15-foot cube, originating from you, and everybody around you must make a Constitution saving throw. So, Agnomeio, you would be... I would say you'll be excluded because you kind of just rushed forward. But Felicity, Milo, Alaric, and Alicia are all going to have to make Constitution saving throws. All right.
Just set off a bomb in the middle of our group.
All right.
Man.
So while I'm doing this, can you please let me know what I need to beat, because I'm just kind of going to be looking at
13.
All right. So far, Felicity failed, Milo failed, Alaric succeeded,
Alaric.
and Alicia, you said 15? No, 13. Alicia succeeded.
13.
All right, so what is the situation here? So they take 2d8 thunder damage. All right, so you got to roll your damage. So Felicity and Milo are going to take...
I hope I do badly.
All right, so Felicity and Milo are both going to take 8 damage, looks like.
Yes.
Yep. And Alaric and Alicia are both going to take 4 damage. So, hold on one sec. Okay, so that's all been affected. You do not take any, but I believe that you teleport as part of this, correct? So go ahead and move your character, I think, right?
Teleport?
Oh, that's Thunder Step. I'm thinking Thunder Step.
Oh.
Right? Thunder Wave doesn't transport you anywhere.
No. Yeah.
So why did you even do that? Hold on. I might
trying to...
Hold on. I might be doing this wrong. A wave of thunderous force sweeps out from you. Okay. Yes. On a failed save.
Yeah,
so
it was to counteract the wave that he was coming at us. I was like, what could help push that water away?
Okay.
Was the thought process.
That's perfect. Okay. No, I just wanted to...
Ed, stop laughing.
I wanted to make... I love it. Clifton, that was a good... Pikachu, I choose you!
I just do a shot Thunder Wave, you know, I'm here for it.
Strike! All right, so you explode in a flurry of just electrical energy, and you see the 4 little small people around you all collapse to their knees, just and you see Agnomeio charging forward, with his sword drawn, I'm assuming, or no?
No.
Just charging
think
forward?
An illusion.
Okay.
I'm just charging. I'm just going. I'm gonna
All right, charging
pop you
forward.
in your illusionary head.
So you see this thunder wave. I mean, sorry, this
I would
tidal
just like
wave.
to say they didn't sizzle. They just got it blown over, basically. Like it's not
All right,
lightning
fine.
damage.
Well, even better then. Felicity falls and she starts tumbling down the stairs. Milo
no.
goes forward. Alicia, they all burst out from you. Felicity doesn't take any extra damage, but she's now up there. Agnomeio,
All these little bodies just.
Agnomeio, you charged forward, and your gut was right. The tidal wave just kind of separates around you as you charge through it. TaLin, you see the tidal wave. It just washes over you with no effect whatsoever. You can't see anything. It's as if you are underwater, but there's no actual force being exerted on your body. And as the wave dissipates, you see Pharaoh is also gone. And you see Felicity, Alaric, and Milo and Alicia. They all kind of get up, and they're glaring at you a little bit, TaLin, but they're like, we get it, but could you be a little bit like slower, maybe, or it's just something in the future? That was awful.
Sorry. But at the same time,
Milo is like
fast
really hurt at the moment. He's like his skin. He looks like the emperor after getting just zapped. He's like unlimited power, But he's
Oh yeah. Should Alaric, you have a healing potion for our guy, right? And also maybe Milo should go sit down in the galley again.
Yeah, I got plenty of healing potion. He runs over to Milo. He's Milo, drink this, and he just shoves it in his face. And Milo's like, and he starts chugging it. Okay, he's fully healed now. He's like, I feel much better actually. Okay, I'm ready to go. Let's do this. Okay. And
all right. Well, does anyone else need potioning real quick?
No. And everybody actually looks pretty okay.
Okay. Well, I want to go sniff around real quick over here. I want to see if there's a trail of illusionary magic.
Absolutely. Almost like you don't even have to roll. Your 20 still helped. Like if you rolled lower, I probably should have waited, but still, like very much so. I think those without the nose of illusionary detection would be able to know that was an illusion. And
well, but I mean, is there any sign of where it came from? Would I be able to track it?
So it came from this room right here, but that's also where you saw it walk out of.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
Is that also the room we were in before when we were checking for the chambers?
That is not.
Okay.
All right. Well, everybody partner up and get in a wall.
All right. So, actually, Agnomeio, as you run into this room, make a perception check for me real quick. Actually, what's your passive perception? It would be your 10 plus your. I think it's 10.
Probably. I don't think I have that great perception. Yeah, it's 10.
You know what? Because of your high roll on Arcana, the fact that you are looking around, I'll let you roll for it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Perception. 14. You see something move through a small hole in the wall, like just almost as if a shadow moved behind a shadow. And you swear you saw something move behind the wall, but you didn't hear anything.
Quickly, team short round. Group B.
Which
with
was
me. Into the wall.
Alicia and Alaric, I think. No, he was with Group A. TaLin, you were technically with Group B, but no, you were. I forget who was in Group.
No, I was with Milo and Felicity.
Thank you. All right, so Alaric was with you. All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Group short round. So Alaric runs in and he's holding the grenade in his hand. He's just
okay. Wait, hold off with that. Hold off with that.
What? I like holding it. It feels nice in my hand.
I need something slightly less murdery. There's layers of murder. We need a little less murder.
All right. He puts the grenade away back in his pocket gently, and then he takes out the little vial of flame, and you look at it, and it's just dancing red and orange flames inside of a vial. Is this less murdery?
Yeah. Be careful. Please.
Sounds good. All right, let's go.
All right.
So Felicity actually yells into the door, and she says, "If you push on around on the wall, you'll find where it opens up," and you're able to do so. So you find that there is a little hatch right about here, actually pretty much right where you're standing, and as you pop that open, you're able to kind of get into the wall.
Very cool. All right.
So,
TaLin, what are you up to? Are you doing the same thing?
pretty much. Yep. I'm having. Well, first I want to ask Felicity and Milo. All of a sudden, I can hear the music. First, I want to ask Felicity and Milo if they have any powers or anything that can emit light or help with our whole sunstone thing. But I'm gonna have Felicity open the door thingy for me.
So Felicity, she does not have anything that emits light. Milo, on the other hand, he actually says, I don't want to be quite as obnoxious as Alaric, but he kind of just out of his pocket he pulls a grenade. He's like, I got one of these too. Technically it emits light, but I don't think that's what you're looking for, right?
No. We'll hold on to that for later. Please be very, very careful with it.
Okay. And you actually see he's wearing like cargo pants, and he kind of opens his pocket and he drops it from like 3 feet above and just lands right in his pocket. He's like, nice and safe and sound in there. Perfect.
Right. Milo, you'll be in the back of the group.
Back of the group. Got it. No problem. All right.
You'll guard the rear. Okay, so Felicity, can you open the thing, and I'll lead the way with the sunstone in hand.
You got it. All right, so she pops it open, and you guys are now inside the. I'll move all the NPCs whenever it's convenient, but TaLin and Agnomeio, you guys are basically you're equal with the NPCs. If you move and they don't worry about it.
Okay.
All right.
And we're trying to move aft, which is to the back
of the boat. Yep. However, we're going to pause you guys for 1 sec, because now you're inside the walls. We're going to go back over to Knobolas and the rest of the group. Magnus is kind of talking to everybody. He's trying to keep everybody calm. Serafina she's leaning a little heavy towards Magnus, and you actually overhear her once or twice, Knobolas, saying like she's kind of scared. Dr. Everhart's kind of rolling her eyes a bit. And what is Booker doing, by the way, TaLin? At the moment, he's in the galley. I can't imagine he could fit into the walls with you, so...
Basically, he will hang out with Magnus. That way, if anything goes down, like, he can pitch in where it's going, especially since we're trying to, like, push things towards the captain's quarters.
Sure. All right. Knobolas, what are you up to?
Well, I was up to turf, but seeing that Serafina seems to be perturbed, I'd like to go see what's going on. So, yeah, I'll go sit at their table, which I was sitting there earlier, but I'll go join them again.
And actually, as you kind of go around, Talia, she actually comes and sits next to you. Roland is currently sitting by himself, and you overhear him like, "So, Turf, what's it like down in the workshop these days? You tinkering with some new machinations?" And Turf's like, "Yes."
Sure.
Sounds good.
As long as Turf isn't super interested, I'm okay with this conversation happening.
Sounds good. Can you give me some detail? No. All right. So, Lil Grizz, how are you doing over there? And you see Roland actually gets down on the ground and he starts playing with Lil Grizz, who seems like somewhat interested, more just for the attention. All right, Knobolas, what are you doing?
I'd like to be direct and ask Serafina, is everything all right?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't slept well in a couple days, and that's not great for us magic users. You know, we really kind of need our rest to be able to cast our spells. But aside, I mean, I've got some stuff stored. Like, I'm feeling okay. I'm just tired, I guess. This whole situation is not something that we're used to.
Can I use, like, I feel like she's hiding something. I'm trying to figure out what I can use to maybe kind of get more out of her.
Well, tell me what you'd like to try to do. Do you want to perceive?
I
Are you trying to?
Her mannerism changed a bit when I came to down, and now she's acting like totally cool and like nothing's wrong. But I obviously saw that something was bothering her, so I kind of want to not be direct about it, but I would like to.
Sure.
I don't know.
She says, well, I mean, Knobolas, you're kind of new to the ship. What have you been dreaming about?
Oh, well, I've been tormented by awful dreams most of my life, but things have gotten significantly worse since I've been on this ship. I'm seeing really dark scenes, but I must be honest.
Well, I would hope you'd be honest, but really dark scenes, are they like premonitions of the creature, or are they something worse, something more futuristic?
No,
Like
they are
premonitions?
visions is probably the best way to put it. It's I just feel this connection with spirits, if you want to call them that, or other beings, and I can feel that there's some rivalry between them, and I see some people maybe hesitating or, you know, which side they're on, and it just disturbs me so much.
Interesting. And Elowin, who's sitting right next to you, you're actually like pretty much, you're drowning in it right now. Magnus is about the only other guy here. Elowin and Talia both kind of look at you as if like sad for your situation, almost strangely interested. But Elowin, she holds out her hand, and you see this little tiny daisy grow out of her fingertips, and she takes it and she hands it to you, and she says, you know, I've heard that the smell of a daisy can actually relax somebody's mind, and you know, maybe you could just take this and maybe it'll help you sleep tonight. Talia, by the way,
I don't know this.
I'd like you to roll a perception check right now. No, I'd like you to roll a perception.
Okay. I was like,
we're like crawling.
We're
crawling through the walls to, you know, like freaking interact with the Underdark in a tight, closed space and not knowing what will affect it. And he's over here sniffing daisies.
This is literally what Knobolas does.
Hesitating about sniffing those daisies.
He's like, you guys all go do the hard work. I'm gonna just sniff some daisies. So a 13. So you get the slightest notice of Talia. She gets like a little bit jealous when you take the daisy, but nothing, like she certainly doesn't act on it. If anything, it's more like she just kind of darts her eyes back over to Dr. Everhart, and she says, Doctor, what have your dreams been about? And the doctor says, it's mostly been... Oh, hold on, I have to stop, because Zophyr is the channel's very first super chat. Yeah, and that is something worth celebrating. And he has suggested a advantage roll for Knobolas. So Knobolas, I'd like you to roll one more perception check, please. And thank you very much, Zophyr.
Right. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's see.
Cheers.
Oh, what do we get? Oh, no.
You rolled worse, so that's okay.
I rolled worse, but you know what? We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, Zophyr. We'll finally see a little bit of the markup on the whatever. All right,
so that's a good reminder to folks. Like, if you see that we roll really bad and you want to kind of persuade the story, or the other way around, we roll really good, and you're like, nah.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that. I think that would be really funny. And I usually have the stream on ultra light or whatever, the one that lets it be pretty much real time. So if you're thinking about doing this, you should be able to affect the decisions before I make them. So
we can figure it out. We can backtrack a little bit like you just did. So.
Yeah, I'm creative. All right, so Knobolas, So Talia says to Dr. Everhart, what have your dreams been about? And the doctor says, they've been mostly about this one patient that I didn't save. As I could imagine that you'd realize, a doctor has many demons that haunt their mind. In fact, Magnus, do you mind if Talia, do you think that, or Elowin, do you think that you could maybe escort me back to my room? Just the whole buddy thing. I'd like to. I feel like I don't want to just sit here and wait. I'd rather at least be comfortable in my room. And hey, Knobolas, roll a d4 for me.
All right.
What if Lil Grizz goes along so he can escort Elowin back?
I got a 4.
All right. So Talia stands up and she says, "I'll help you out, Doctor." And the two of them leave. They actually exit down the southern entrance here. And as they leave, they're gone for probably about a minute, and you hear a scream.
Oh,
Hey, hold on. Just
Sure.
before they do that, can I hand the daisy to Seraphina?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So you
I
hand
think she may need this more than I do. Hand it to her.
and she takes it from you, and she says, I guess thank you for that. And you see it actually, it ignites in her hand, and she says, but I don't subscribe to such silly thoughts as the smell of a daisy. And she
You have
ignites it in your hand.
you have a bone for your next roll.
And
Yeah, that kind of turns Knobolas on a little bit. Like,
Well, you see
Wow.
Magnus kind of gives you a little bit of an eye, and he gets up from the table, and he heads into the kitchen, and Seraphina actually follows him.
oh, we got another super chat.
I saw it, yeah, from
Whoever
Zophyr.
says for the next one, make it fun.
Oh,
man.
we will. So you hear a scream from out in the hallway that seems to be very much Dr. Everhart's voice. This Roland kind of stands up from playing with Lil Grizz. Turf actually kind of shifts his eyes a little bit, and you see sorry, Jason just asked if I killed him.
Yeah,
yet.
I
No,
saw that.
Jason, we sent you up to the deck, but who knows what's happened to you up there. We'll see.
You will wake up in a pit of snakes, though.
So Elowin, Knobolas, Roland, and Turf, and Booker are the only ones left in the galley at the moment.
oh boy.
And you just heard the
Are we
scream.
doing something?
What are you?
Should we be running somewhere?
It's up to you.
We heard the scream too, right?
Yes, very much.
I want to make sure Roland is coming too. I still don't trust that guy. Can I like make sure he leaves the room, or is he still petting little?
It's up to you.
What's going
How
on?
would you convince him to leave the room?
Is he just sitting there petting little Grizz? Like,
He just stood back up. Like he was laying on his belly, like playing with little Grizz or whatever. But
Okay.
now he stood back up and he says, "No, Knobolas, did you hear that? Somebody's in trouble.
I'll
Elowin,
say.
we must go.
Everyone.
We must rescue them. Turf, keep doing
okay,
what you're
Roland,
doing."
Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Everyone, follow me, and then I rush everyone out of the room.
All right.
Oh man.
So Roland, Turf, Elowin, and Knobolas, you all rush out of the room, and you see Dr. Everhart and Talia both standing in the middle of the deck here, in the middle of this hallway, and they both look absolutely terrified, and they're kind of like there was a man, he was, and the doctor, she turns around, she says, it was him, it was the soldier I couldn't save. He was on the ship. How did he get here? And you see Magnus and Seraphina both kind of come out of the kitchen as well. And Magnus says, what was happening? What's going on? I know it was an illusion. It was just an illusion. But there was somebody here, and he shouldn't have been here. He's been dead for years.
Talia, what did you see?
I saw the same thing. He was a man. He was missing both of his legs, and there was blood all over him, and he was just sitting on the floor staring at us. And as we approached, he just came out of nowhere, and he pointed at Dr. Everhart and he said, "This is your fault." And he just sat there. He didn't disappear until you all opened the door.
Well, if this isn't proof, I don't know what is. I mean, this thing is obviously preying on our fears. Talia, remember what we discussed earlier? When you faced the fear, I'm a bit concerned that you still saw this and you're still affected by this.
What do you mean? Why wouldn't I be affected?
I don't know. I just feel like there's something about us facing our fears that kind of helps get rid of this, and some of our fears are a bit more difficult to face than others, and I like to nod to Dr. Everhart to acknowledge that, yeah, this is a pretty bad fear.
No, I mean, this wasn't my fear, but I saw it.
No, I know. It's fine. Anyways.
Okay. Sorry, maybe I missed it. Yeah. Sorry.
It's all good.
The Hypernova is good, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. I still think this thing's playing on our fears. I mean, what about the rest of you? You all have had nightmares, right? Have we not all disclosed that to each other at this point?
Yes, very much. Yep.
I think we all should let each other know what our biggest fear is, as scary as it may be to admit that, so we're prepared for what could be aboard this ship.
Magnus speaks up and he says, interesting idea. This is the kind of thing that I suppose a captain should do first. But I'm hesitant to say it out loud. And we're going to pause for Knobolas' group for a moment there. And we're going to go back over to Agnomeio and group B and 2. So TaLin, we're going to start with you. So you guys have been slowly making your way down the hull of the ship. And you've been...
Are we starboard or...
You guys are starboard. Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep. So you are... Actually, at this point, you're probably about halfway. You are...
So are we group 2 or group B?
I know, I like that I made it purposely confusing. So you are group 2, and the other group was group B, although also known as group short round. I'd like both Agnomeio and TaLin to both make perception checks.
What?
Let's see if you're on the right track.
Okay. Come on.
4.
18.
Hey. 18. Is this know where we get the plus D4 to our next roll?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, right.
Oh, yes,
Good
it is.
call.
Because of
Yep.
Talia's song.
Might as well.
Huh? I wrote it in big asterisks and stuff.
I'm going to add a whole
So, 20.
1. I got a 5.
Fantastic. So, TaLin, why don't you roll a D4? An 18 is good, but, 22 would be better.
Oops. Wait. Oops. That's such a weird looking freaking dice.
I know. Those are the
Wait.
ones that you don't want to step on, the D4s. They're
Oh,
like caltrops.
Like a
All right.
Right.
So you ended up with a 21, and Agnomeio, you got a 5. So Agnomeio, you are still able to follow the claw marks because they're pretty apparent. But at this point, it's hard to tell whether they're the most, like, from this particular instance or otherwise. Because as you look around, you see that there are claw marks all up and down the inside of this hull. It's hard to tell if they're fresh or... I mean, a day-old ones would probably look about the same as fresh. So...
Sure.
TaLin, on the other hand, you're seeing a whole lot of these same kind of tracks, 3 toes, but you also see, you're starting to see that there is a hole that's been kind of gouged into each one of these rooms that you've been passing, giving the ability to see into each one of these rooms. So confirming your thoughts that something is probably visiting at nighttime.
Friggin' creepo deepo.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is like those hotels where some perv is peeping Tom has peeked a hole in. How big are the
How big are the holes? about the size of a fingernail, just enough to see through.
Ew. Ugh. I don't know why that's grosser to think about, like a fingernail.
Yeah.
That whole like. Ugh.
Because I've designed it to be creepy.
Oh, gross.
Because I get a week to think about this thing in between each game.
But I meant like the claw tracks themselves. These like.
Yeah.
Just to get an idea of the size of this creature. Are they like this big or like this big?
They're
like
2
inches or like a foot.
They're a little bigger than human hand size, as if you pictured like
a chick with long acrylic nails.
I was just gonna say that, but I couldn't think of the word acrylic. So yes, it would be like somebody who had about an inch long or about a half-inch long nail on each finger that was slightly larger than human hands, just scratching their way and. So you notice that the claws actually dig into the wall, probably about a quarter to and a half an inch, enough to hold them steady.
Yeah, and they're like on the sides.
Yes.
They're like up and down on the walls, kind
Correct.
of. Right?
Yeah, whatever has been in here has been going up and down and left and right and all over the place. It's been 2 whole nights that they've been able to do this, so they've been spending their time in the walls.
Creepy, because think about this is like something bigger than a human, like slightly bigger than a human potentially.
Well, what's creepier is
it could crawl on the walls and dig holes through it, and then fuck with your brain.
So slightly creepier for those of you who have ever dealt with mice in your walls. For just I live up here. There's always mice in the walls every year. It's a noise that wakes you from your sleep when a mouse is in there, and for whatever reason, this thing has not woken you from your sleep.
I don't care for that.
So it is quite quiet. All right, so Agnomeio and your group is going to progress a little bit further. You're now about even with the galley, and you're starting to run into a lot of little cobwebs that are just kind of getting all over your face and tripping you up. And you actually, Agnomeio, you turn back and you notice that Alessio has lagged behind quite a bit.
Oh no! Halt! No one gets left behind. Come on now, Rick. Shimmy that big old bearded face back. Come on.
All right. Is it time for the grenade? Should I take out the grenade now?
No grenades.
So Agnomeio, you hear in your head, you hear the voice of Pyroxis, and it says, "Why not? Why not take out the grenade? That seems like a great time for the grenade."
We are within a 3 foot.
Also.
3 foot wide.
It's okay. I could protect you from the grenade. That's no problem.
Okay, Pyroxis. I will let you murder the crap out of whatever lives in these walls. I promise.
Promise? Okay. I promise. All right.
Would a hole in the ship cause it to sink?
No. Nope. Good question though. All right. So you guys catch up to Alessio and you see this look on her face. She looks terrified.
Oh boy.
And in front of her, you see a dwarven man, just barely, it's like slightly around the corner, and he's stuck. Oh geez, I've had the Talia up on my screen forever. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so you see Ragnar Goldbeard. He is around the corner just slightly, but he's scrunched in the wall like this. And he doesn't look at all like the regal being that he was previously. His face is disfigured. He's bloody. And he is just sitting there and staring with these eyes that are just white and milky over at Alessio. And he's just looking at her, and she's struck. She's just terrified and not able to move.
Okay. Alessio. And I'm gonna reach around and I'm gonna move. Try to push.
Yep.
Ulrich out of the way. Just come on.
No problem.
All right. Hold on. Don't worry. It might be an illusion. And I'm just gonna poke Pyroxis forward and just.
And you
poke.
see.
Poke.
So as you poke at Ragnar, the sword goes through his stomach, and it starts to bleed.
Oh jeez, it's Ragnar, guys.
And Ragnar looks.
Oh no. Well, at least we found Ragnar.
He looks through you, and he looks directly at Alicia, and he says, "Murderer, you've betrayed us both. You've let the Goldbeards down." And then he disappears.
Oh, okay. He was an illusion. See, nothing to worry about. Come on, everybody.
Alicia.
I'm just pretending I don't hear any of this. It's tough.
You don't hear any of this. Yep. So Alicia, she looks at you, Agnomeio, and she says, I don't. Was he talking to you, or was she talking to me?
Alicia, what happens in the walls of the ship stays in the walls of the ship. All right? We're not going to worry about that. We've got a Morlock to murder. Come on.
Morlock is not bad, actually. So, excuse me. So you guys continue to go through the cobwebbed walls. And TaLin, you and your group B here, or group 2, you guys, you start to notice, TaLin, that you hear the wind is whipping quite a bit more strongly where you are right now. And you gauge that you're probably over the deck, the outside deck. I don't know why I can't deselect you. So we're going to go back to Knobolas' group here. So the group has taken a little bit of time, and everybody's been going through and saying what their greatest fears are. Excuse me. Talia kind of admitted about the whole flute thing. Dr. Everhart confirmed that it was all of the souls that she wasn't able to save. Magnus talked about the ship actually crashing and the dream that he had revealed to you. Seraphina talking about being overpowered by the power of her fire magic and what it would feel like to actually feel being burned alive. Turf, he was a little bit less forthcoming about what his nightmares had been. In fact, he kind of alluded to the fact that he hadn't really had much sleep in the last couple of nights, and he's just kind of worked. But he did say that he fears his father, and had he been sleeping, he suspects that it would have had something to do with that. Whereas Elowyn says that she's been having dreams about being within a dying forest or a dying patch of flowers, or just something about the world dying and a blight on the land. Roland, however, he says that he was less forthcoming. Actually, Knobolas, I'd like you to roll a perception check for me. And you get to have advantage on this because of Zophar's super chat.
Oh yeah. Thank you again for the super chat.
Great.
Let's see.
I was thinking double advantage because Roland's
Look at that.
so obvious.
13.
Yeah. So Roland admits he goes, I know it might be hard to believe, but sometimes I'm not as confident as I come across, and I'm worried that people might see me for not as brave as you know, those of the legends of these fine warriors. I mean, I'm certainly a champion among men, but I might not be a legendary warrior. And that brings me much fear. Yes,
Sounds
nobody believes him. So
I feel I do not believe. Yeah, not at all.
so, and Magnus says, "All right, well, if we know everybody's fears here, this seems like if you keep your own mind, your wits about you, and what might be coming, if you see something that lines up with that, just don't believe it." And Roland says, "No problem. Anything that makes me look bad, I will justly ignore."
I'd like to interrupt him. I'd like to interrupt him and say, but have we seen, can these things actually hurt us? I mean, some people have died and obviously just come back from the dead, but the rest of us, like, have we been hurt by these things?
And Seraphina speaks up and she says, "Well, from what we've been told, Roland didn't actually die. It just looked like he had. So, although maybe, it doesn't seem as if anybody's actually been hurt."
Mm.
That's a good point.
Just very scared.
So whose nightmare is Roland dying? That's definitely not a nightmare for me. Anyone?
Roland will remember this. No, Roland does look a little hurt at that comment.
Good. I'm sorry. I don't even know why I hate this character, but I hate him so much.
Did you see his picture?
I saw his picture and I almost hesitated, but now like can I talk to Turf? Like, has anyone talked to Turf? No one?
Not really, no. Roland attempted to, but yeah. What do you?
Oh, fuck. No, I'd like to question him a little bit more about his. He says he hasn't slept. I mean, it's been what, 2 nights?
Two
What
nights,
is
yeah.
that, 3 days.
Yeah.
You're telling us you haven't slept at all during that time.
A lot of coffee.
No. I don't sleep much. I just work. I'm building something. It needs a lot of concentration. I move slow, so I don't have to move. I don't have to sleep very much.
And can I ask you, what is your role in this ship? Magnus, can you tell me what his role
Boatswain.
is?
I fix the boat if there's a problem. But for the most part, I'm developing weapons, tools, different things to improve the speed or efficiency of the boat.
That's interesting, because I worked with Milo for quite a while, and I don't remember him saying anything about you. How long have you been here on the ship?
And Magnus actually speaks up. He said, "Turf's been here a couple of years. Actually, he's a fine workman, but not much for talking, as you could kind of see." Turf, is there anything else you want to add? Yes. Well, go ahead. I've been able to create something that will allow us to. Well, you know what? Actually, it's not quite ready yet. But let tell you what. Come down to Knobolas. Come down to my workshop later, and I'll show you once this whole situation is dealt with. I'll show you what I've been working on.
Don't mind if I do.
And bring your friends too. It would be good for them to see. And Magnus speaks up. He's like,
now too.
he's like, Magnus actually says.
Airboat.
Magnus actually says,
What?
I'd like to know what you've been working on down there too, Turf. I trust you, but it's always good to see what you come up with. No problem,
What
Captain.
kind of creature was he again? Turf?
Turf is a Earth Genasi. So Genasis they're basically like a half genie, if that makes any sense. But there's typically like an elemental factor to them. So you could have like Fire Genasi, Air Genasi, Earth Genasi,
Can
Water
we see his
Genasi.
picture again?
Sure. So actually, and his skin is, you'll kind of see it in a sec. His skin isn't quite what it looks like in the picture here. I couldn't quite make it work, but it's a bit more gray, like rock, and he moves very stiffly. You get the feeling that he probably weighs like a few hundred pounds more than he seems. And as he walks, he's got this just strength to him. He's a very solid individual. So he's probably a pretty good fighter,
Makes more
but
sense why you're flirting with him now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I
Okay.
get it.
he's probably a pretty good fighter, but he doesn't strike you as one that's much interested in fighting.
Not interested in fighting either.
It sounds like he's strong but slow. Like
Exactly.
you're
Yep.
gonna come to him for the fight.
Yeah. Think
I just got
Colossus from
stiff out of
X-Men.
that, and I got a little excited.
All right. So I'd like all three of you to roll a d6, please,
Okay.
because you guys are in the walls, and Knobolas, you're doing your thing, whatever you're doing.
Am I also rolling a d6
Yes.
as well?
Yep.
Okay.
And Anomio's rolled a 1,
we're
TaLin
not
rolled a
doing
1, and
that.
Knobolas rolled a 1.
That's pretty incredible.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. Well, you know what? Whatever I'm about to tell you will be way more fun as a cliffhanger, the fact that all three of you just rolled a 1. So, now here's the thing. Today is December 11th. We're gonna switch back over here. So to say that today is December 11th. I don't believe that we are going to have a live game next week. However, Adriana, I believe, is going to host a one shot, which we'll be filming offline, and we'll post when it's live. So we will be revisiting all of you after the holidays. Date to be determined. Probably around, I doubt that we're going to be doing January 1st. So probably around the 8th. It's going to be a few weeks. There will be content on the channel, and we will pick up here where all three of you rolled a 1. I do actually have a scenario for this, but there's zero chance that we're getting to it in the next 6 minutes. So, all right. Thank you everybody for joining us here on Dungeons and Drams. Thank you, Zopher, for being our first super chat of the night.
Yay!
Or of the ever, really. Your name will go down in history.
Oh, five.
And
he's been a supporter of my channel for a while, and he's so glad
oh yeah,
to see him
Zopher's
here.
awesome. Yeah, it's funny. I only the name Zopher is familiar, but I recognize him more from his icon than anything. The little Iron Giant, I think it is. Yeah. Yeah.
No, he's another Southern California guy. So
That's
if you're ever
right.
in San Diego, I know you used to travel there a bit. So
used to.
He's in that area. So.
Back when the world was sane. Yes. All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much for joining us here, and thank you, players, for doing an awesome job tonight. A lot of role playing, but Knobolas, you always strike me as you always surprise me. It's very hard to plan for anything that you're gonna do.
And it's been that way since the first game. The first game I was throwing little trolls down the staircase. I've always been a wild card in this game.
You really have. It's
true.
made it very
That is
interesting. You've made me have to work harder to flesh out my NPCs.
That's what happens when you bring on someone that's never played D&D before, and you
It's
bring
wonderful.
on a theater kid that's never done it. So he's just throwing it all out there.
Oh,
There you go.
Awesome. So for anybody who follows the channel for the ChatGPT stuff, I'm probably going to be doing one on guilds in the next week or so. That's something that's been requested a few times, as well as, what is the other one? Well, we'll see. But I want to wish everybody a happy holidays, and yeah, cheers.
All right.
here's, let's get in on the
Christmas, happy
Discord
holidays.
and you can contribute to ideas and stuff.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. All right. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.